Darkcast Network. The light shines brightest on our indie podcasts.
Honestly, because I was like, we ain't gonna do nothing with this fat. So me and Mom looked at each other, and we're like, what do you do with it? You know, she's like, oh, well, you make lard. And I was like, what do I do with that? Like, you know, like...
You cook with it, you bake with it. Yeah.
Well...
They use lard a lot on farms. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, and in the South, that's what... But biscuits, they use lard, cornbread...
That's what Mom said about cornbread.
Mm-hmm. They make it, especially their biscuits are used with lard. And what was I watching? Something was like, yeah, it's the lard. You can taste like the biscuits taste a little bit like meat, like they have a meaty flavor.
Yeah,
lard.
Yeah. What y'all know about lard? Cooking with the lard. Yeah. This is our first episode of 2022.
It is.
What it do? How are you?
What it do? How are you, girl? Trying to survive this fucking
Flurona, the Delta, Omicron, Omni Delta,
the Omarion.
What the Omarion is going on around here? All of the things.
The Omarion's out here.
All of the things, guys. It's still happening. I'm sorry to bring it up in the beginning of the podcast, but it's still happening.
Okay, this onomatopoeia is going on, you know, and there's a whole bunch of bullshit happening with the healthcare workers. And the teachers are pissed because, you know, people are like, we want our kids to go back to school. And they're like, Omarion is out there. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, it's just... It's the 2020 shit show continues.
Rock and a motherfucking hard place. And like they said, 2022 is like, it's 2022. It's still 2020 also.
Yeah, exactly. The 2020...
This is wild. I had a conspiracy... that it's the phones, it's the smart devices. That's how it's still hanging around. I don't do it that often, but how often do you hand someone else your phone? To let them take a picture of you?
No.
How often are you cleaning your phone?
I just wipe my phone on my pants.
That don't kill Omarion.
Listen, Norman is constantly with the Clorox wipes on his phone, or even like hand sanitizer to wipe his phone. I'm like, you're going to break your phone. Stop doing that.
Yeah.
But he's OCD about that shit. I'm just like, whatever, give me my fucking phone. It drops on the ground, I put it to my face. I don't
know. I'm just thinking, what is the catalyst that was around 100 years ago that was around now that wasn't then, and how this shit is spreading? I think it's the smart devices.
I don't think so.
No? Okay. Conspiracy killed. 2022 going for you.
Still a shit show.
Your hair looks nice. I really like it.
Thanks.
When I'm dressed like this, Mom calls me Mrs. Hepburn.
Excuse me.
You better watch yourself.
Can Mrs. Hepburn help you?
How can I help you?
Yeah. I am surviving. I'm trying to get my healthy lifestyle habits in order. I'm trying to prolong my lifespan.
These are good things.
Die next week.
You could die. Look it. When it's coming, it's coming. You cannot stop it. Live your best life. YOLO. Let your hair free.
Let the locks down.
Let the locks go.
So I bought. Did I tell you I bought some jump ropes?
No.
Okay, so I bought these jump ropes. There's this, you know, okay, so jumping rope is, you know, it's actually really good exercise, and I've known this forever. And so I was on,
Amazon?
No, I was on, I think I was on, I don't know where I was on YouTube or something, and there was these guys, they're called the jump rope dudes.
Ooh, jump rope dudes.
And I was watching one of their videos, and, you know, they were just jumping rope, and they were, like, doing jump rope workouts, and I was like, okay. And so then, you know how once you fucking open some shit up on your phone, then it's all the ads are everywhere.
Yep.
All over your social media, all over the place.
They follow you around.
So I was like, And this was literally, I saw the jump rope dudes, I saw them like in July. I opened my phone like at the beginning of the year, and there was an ad in fucking Instagram for these jump ropes that the jump rope dudes promote. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll get them. I'm trying to go into 2020 with healthier habits and, you know, to be kind to myself and stuff. And so I ordered these jump ropes, and then that comes with, they have like a freaking app that has jump rope workouts and challenges and shit. So I was like, okay, cool. So I've been jump roping. So then I had to buy some shoes because these shoes are beat to shit. And I've had these shoes forever. So I bought some shoes. I bought a new sports bra. I bought some fucking leggings. So I'm going to be jump roping into 2020.
Jumping into 2020. 22.
2022. It's still 2020 if you ask me, but whatever.
But, you know.
So my week, it has been, you know, I'm trying to get healthier and like develop better habits because all my habits have not been the best.
It's definitely all about habits. After I start talking with Shelby, I started making my bed every day. Just like, that's something that I can control, and it makes me happy when my bed's made.
Yeah, I make my bed every morning. That's like not a thing.
For me, it was a thing.
No, I get it.
Don't knock my accomplishment.
I didn't say. Listen, did you see that episode of Mom? You don't watch Mom.
I don't really watch Mom.
There was an episode of Mom with Kristen Chenoweth, right? And you know they're alcoholics and they're in AA, and so Marjorie, who is the like the oldest lady on the in their group.
Oh, I know who she is. The I feel like her bangs look like mine.
Right. And she's like, you know, you got up and you made your bed today. You know, that's a win for you. And Kristen Chenoweth was a guest star on this episode. She was like, making your bed is not a win.
Yes, it is, bitch. Some people don't have beds to make.
That's the truth, right? So, I mean, I thought it was funny because the way, you know, the episode was like they were struggling with something. Like Christy was graduating and she was having like a gambling issue. She gambled away the earrings that they got her for her graduation. It was like a whole thing.
Okay.
But I just remember that episode when she was like, making your bed is not a win. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, dang, okay, I guess you fucking just busted her bubble.
Thanks, bitch.
So yeah, I'm, you know, I jump roped today. I jump roped yesterday. I jump roped last week, like on Wednesday and Thursday. So, going to be jump roping almost every day, hopefully. And that's how my week has been going. I mean, there's more shit, but whatever. How was your week?
Ooh. It's going good. The kids are back in school. I know there's like a big old stigma about it, but I'm happy my kids is back in school because I was not able to get anything done. Nothing done. I do have my husband who helps, and I'm thankful for when he's able to take them off my hands. Oh, and I went to Houston last week.
Oh, yeah.
I mean...
I thought y'all was going to come back with the Omicron.
Girl, I thought I came back with the Omicron for a second. Like, you know how you're just, like, stuffy and just, like, weird after being on a plane? Mm-hmm. I didn't really think I had it, but I was like...
Girl, Omarosa done got you.
Other than that, I went and bought some fresh pork from a pig farmer.
Yeah, that's exciting.
So listen, y'all, watch Facebook sometimes.
I'm excited.
I had a friend, he was like, hey, anybody interested in half a whole pig? And I was like, what? And I knew the dude, so I honestly thought he went and killed it himself. Yeah, I thought he was hunting.
Wild boar hunting.
Something. And so I was like, okay, and it turns out it's his mom's neighbor who's a pig farmer. And she's like, I got pig, you want it? And I was like, I do. But when they told me how much it was, I was like, Brandy, Mom, y'all want some pig too? Well worth it. I think this is definitely going to pay for it. So obviously, like, we've got so much food in the freezers now.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. I don't eat meat still, but I might dabble.
I might dabble in the pork consumption.
Because I know where it came from.
Yeah.
I know they were treated with kindness. And they had a good life.
They didn't beat them about the head.
Right. They had plenty of space. And I'm okay with that because I know that they're not putting stuff in the meat. And they're not treating them poorly. So they're ethical pigs.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first time I've ever bought, like, meat like that. Like, I know people do it all the time. And they're like, duh, bitch. No, not me. I go to the grocery store.
Yes.
I don't know where it came from. So I'm really excited about that. Other than that, we're fucking here, and you guys are here. Hello, listeners. We missed you guys. So last week I released our Elizabeth Holmes episode.
Yeah.
From damn near 3 years ago. Our birthday's coming up. Our pod birthday's coming up. 3 years, guys.
Oh, my.
We've been through it with you. If this is your first episode, hey, thanks for being here. But you other guys, y'all was riding with us. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you for being here, for coming along on the journey.
Yes, all of your support. We love you guys. We have listeners all over the freaking world. We're hitting records on these podcast players and stuff like that. And it's all because of you guys. So pat yourself on the back. You guys are amazing. Oh, we've got listeners all over the place.
Oh, we joined a
joined the Darkcast Network last year in December. And it launched officially this month. So mosey on over to the Darkcast Network and check out some of our podcast pals. It is lots of true crime, lots of death, lots of darkness. And then
I love it.
Brandy's into it. Me, not so much. But I do like to support. So check it out. And I'm Sunny Hepburn.
And I'm Brandy Fleeks.
And this is Book of Lies. The podcast.
It's both bitches.
Yes, it is. It's 22. And welcome again to our listeners. We love you. Thank you to our patrons. I mailed out postcards while I was traveling, so check your mailboxes.
It's a new year.
It is a new year.
New year, new you.
And there's 2 seasons of Housewives going live right now, and they're full of drama.
Oh my God.
Full of drama. Salt Lake City and the OC. I didn't think I was going to go back to watching Orange County, but when Heather Dubrow came back, I was like, I like Fancy Pants, and I'm coming back to watch her. I haven't watched any of the new seasons with Gina and the other chick, whatever her name is. Emily, yeah. I watched like the first season that they came in, and I didn't finish
Bronwyn.
it.
Well, she's gone now.
I didn't really watch any seasons with Bronwyn.
Okay.
So, I came back, and I'm really happy with the drama that I think they brought Heather back to keep Shannon's ass in line. Keep her on her toes.
Well, with all the other ladies gone, Shannon was the OG. And everybody else was new. Because fucking Kelly Dodd is gone, thank God. I couldn't fucking stand her. God, I couldn't fucking stand her. She's so disgusting. She's like, there's those people that just think they can say whatever, do whatever. Like, she was like the Nene of OC. I couldn't fucking stand Nene at the end. I just fucking couldn't. And so I'm glad she's gone. It's time for some new blood. But I'm like, I really wanted to love Noella, but right now I can't. I cannot stand her.
I was like, okay, new girl, who dis? But I didn't like the way she treated Jen. Dr. Jen.
Yeah.
She was just like, I don't even know you. You're tagging me in pictures. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Become relevant somewhere else. And I was like, why are you talking to this woman like this? I don't feel like she deserved any of that. No. I don't know their backstory. I don't know what they've been through. But I felt like she was coming off real cunty. Real cunty.
Yeah.
But then her and Sweet James, how he was like, I think, listen, remember, guys, check out our collaboration with What a Creep podcast.
Yeah.
When I was like, the FBI is like, let us in your house and let us bring in cameras so we can, get some evidence against you. Sweet James was like, fuck this. No. Well, I think when she signed up and he was like, oh, they're coming in, they're going to see all of our stuff. Nah, I got to go.
Okay, so Sweet James Bergner the radio show that I listen to in the mornings, they talk shit about podcasts, by the way, but whatever. I've been listening to them since 2007, so whatever. But he does radio spots on that show. Like, he calls in and does, like, legal,
a segment.
Yeah, he does a thing where, he tells people, like, if you've ever pulled over for DUI, don't do breathalyzer, do the blood test, blah, 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 blah. And then, they ask him a question that's about a case that's happening right now. Like, there was some lady that was suing, she was suing her ex-husband because he won the lottery.
And he didn't give her enough money.
They were divorced already, but he won the lottery, so she was trying to get money or something like that. And he was like, no, she doesn't have a case. So, like, he just weighs in. He's like, yeah, they have a case or they don't have a case. He doesn't give legal advice, but, they ask him a question and he answers it. And so when she got on there and she was like, oh yeah, I'm married to Sweet Jen. I was like, what? Like, I didn't know he was married. Like, he didn't, you know, he doesn't talk about his personal life on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bill, like, when I'm driving to, you know, into town, there's a billboard right there that's a big ass his fucking face.
There's one right there off the freeway.
Okay, see, there's another one. So, you know, I'm just like, what? So I'm, you know, we know what this man looks like. There's a face to the name, and now he's, you know, we're seeing her relationship play out because he's not on camera on the show.
No.
So it's like, wow, you know, what's going on? Eee.
I think he's up to some fuck shit. I don't know his life. I don't know it, but I'm just saying, like,
Well,
I don't know.
we shall see.
But she was like, you know, she doesn't have any money. She doesn't have control of her own bank accounts. But bitch, you married this guy in 2020.
But they were together for 6 years prior to that.
Oh, okay.
Because they had the baby before they got married.
Mm-hmm.
And so they got married, and their son was in the ceremony.
Okay, because I was like, their son is older than...
Yeah. They had the baby via surrogate, which is weird to me, how you planned a baby before you got married, and then you're married for, what, a year, and now he's filing for divorce. And, you know, it's the whole thing is weird. He turned off her credit cards.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what?
And they say you're not allowed to do that in California, right?
Right.
You're not allowed to, like, hold them, like, hostage financially.
Right.
But
So,
he filed in Puerto Rico.
It's like, the whole thing is weird, and of course, we're not getting the whole story, because
Nope.
we're getting what Bravo wants to show us.
Yes.
So, who knows what the hell.
What a bitch. Nobody deserves this, but maybe if she stopped acting like such a cunt, maybe...
I think she's just, like, I think her interactions with Dr. Jen, she's trying to find somebody, well, she's not trying to find somebody, but maybe she was frustrated that she was, tagged in a post, and instead of, like, expressing, because I'm like, you could easily have said, hey, I see you tagged me in a picture.
People tag us on all the time, like our podcast. People tag it all the fucking time.
But she could have literally said, could you just untag me because I work with a different, you know, instead of blah, 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 blah. Like, she just went off on a person she didn't know.
But the thing was, she was holding this information for a while because she wasn't going to give up this information until Jen was like, hey, what's the deal? Like, what's the problem?
She was telling it to everybody else and not to Jen.
Was she?
Yeah, because she was like... She tagged me in a picture. Like, she was saying it to everybody else.
After she said it to Jen.
No, before.
Oh, God.
Because she was like, she tagged me in a picture that wasn't even well lit, you know. And then when Jen was like, hey, what's up? Mm-hmm. Why are you being this way toward me? And that's when she was like, well, how many times have we met each other? And blah, 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 blah. And yeah, so I was just like, why doesn't she just say it to her instead of saying it to everybody else? It was just real fucking weird.
It's catty bitch shit.
Real weird.
Catty bitch shit. All right, well, if y'all didn't know, we love the Housewives and all the drama. So, stay tuned. Brandy.
Maybe we should start another podcast just for the Housewives.
Housewife drama?
Yeah, but then we'd have to talk about other reality shows too.
I don't know if I have the energy. Maybe we'll do a special one like every month on Patreon or something.
Oh.
And then we'll release it to the wild later.
After it's all out of date and freaking all old news.
I know. Guys, it's today. Finally. We are here. We are fucking here. Brandy. What are we talking about today?
Oh, God. So today we're talking about L. Ron Hubbard, the early years.
Dun, dun, dun.
This is the years prior to Scientology. And honestly, some of it is mixed in because I tried to read this book, okay? Of course, I have a whole bunch of other bullshit going on in my life, so I could only read what I could read. We got as far as I could read into this book.
So there's going to be a second part.
There might be 3 parts. Who knows? Because this is before Scientology. This is actually, this is mostly his childhood, and then I'm going to talk about, some of the lies that he has told, while in Scientology and all that other stuff. But for now, this is just the bullshit that, he claimed about his early life. L. Ron Hubbard was born Lafayette Ronald Hubbard on
Lafayette?
Lafayette. He's named after his grandfather, who's also named Lafayette. They called him Laffy. L-A-F-E. I think they called him Lafe, but it's L-A-F-E, so I'm going to say Laffy. So Lafayette Ronald Hubbard was born March 13th, 1911. And he was born in Tilden, Nebraska. His mom is Leodora May Hubbard, and his father is Harry Ross Hubbard. He was born with bright red hair. He was the only child born with red hair in the family. All the other family members had dark hair. He was born with his bright red hair, so, you know, of course. And he was an only child. So he was super fucking spoiled. His grandparents spoiled him. His aunts, he had a plethora of aunts and uncles. Actually, I think he had like 1 or 2 uncles.
Auntie.
And a bunch of aunts. The youngest aunt was only 7 years older than him. They fucking just like adored the fuck out of him. He was spoiled. Like they, you know, he was the fucking, he was the beloved, okay? He was fucking the beloved. And it got to, like, it was so much so that, like, once when he was a toddler, he was, like, mumbling some gibberish, and he just kept repeating one single word, and his mother was like, if you keep saying that word, I'm gonna wash your mouth out. And he said it, and she washed his mouth out, and her sisters held her down and washed her mouth out in revenge for him. Because that's how beloved this kid was. Okay? You know, as a beloved, he could get away with fucking everything. He could do no wrong. And so, at an early age, he started to make up stories. He had a knack for making things up, creating stories. And I can admire that. You know, as a writer, I can admire the creativity and the storytelling. But he turned his fucking stories into a cult, so I can't get behind that.
That's one thing I can't stand behind.
I'm not going to try to make a cult out of fake shit. So, you know what I'm saying. He grew up in Helena, Montana. The most part, he grew up there. His family moved around a lot. His dad was in the military when his parents met. His father was in the Navy. Then he got out of the Navy and he did a lot of different jobs. He worked at a newspaper. He worked at a bunch of different things. And then he would lose his job and they would move. He would work for a period of time. He would lose his job and they would move. So they finally came back to Helena, Montana. No, not to Helena,
And this
Montana.
is his father?
His father, yeah.
Okay.
They finally back. She's from, I can't even remember where she's from. I think she was from Indiana or some shit. Anyway, her parents ended up moving to Oklahoma. After, you know, at one point, they went back to Oklahoma. And her parents, you know, they loved Ron. And so, yeah, they loved Ron. And so, like, when they moved again, the Hubbards, L. Ron Hubbard's, you know, parents, they moved. So the whole family up and moved with them. Because they wanted to be around Ron.
Lafayette! Get your ass over here, Lafayette.
Yeah. So they moved. His father got a job as a theater manager. So he would he had to live above the theater. And it was him and Ladora and Ron. And so the space was small. And she was like, I can't live here. So she, you know, got a house somewhere else, like in town. And while he was the theater manager, he would get them into all the theater shows. So they had shows that were like vaudeville and, you know, traveling shows because there weren't movies yet. He would get them into the shows and, you know, Ron would sit on his dad's lap and laugh and blah, 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 whatever. Nobody cares. So, you know, eventually World War I started.
Okay.
And
this is like 1920?
14. Okay. Like in 1914.
I was just thinking World War One.
Well, yeah, World War I began, and his dad lost his job, Harry. They called him Hub. They called his dad Hub. Hub lost his job at the theater. The theater had to close because, you know, all money was going toward the war, so people weren't going to the theater anymore. He lost his job at the theater, and the theater closed down, so he re-enlisted into the Navy. And went to war. Mm-hmm. The family started moving around with him. So he got stationed like in, they had to go to New York. He got to get on a ship. They had to go to San Diego. He had to get on a ship. And they kept, you know, traveling around. But what the story that L. Ron Hubbard tells is that his father was, you know, this great sea captain, which is not true. His father was just a fucking lieutenant. that his father was this great sea captain and he was always away. So he was raised on his grandfather's cattle ranch, and his grandfather was wealthy. He had this gigantic cattle ranch in Montana that took up a quarter of the state.
Stop it.
Which literally is 35,000 square miles. Who has a fucking ranch that's 35,000 square miles besides the fucking Yellowstone? And if you watch Yellowstone, holla! Yellowstone is the shit. Have you been watching? You haven't watched it?
Nope.
Oh
I only
God.
watch it when I go to mom's house.
Oh my God. Okay.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Okay, anyway. So this is what he's told his followers, basically. That he was raised on this, his grandfather was a wealthy owner of a cattle ranch, which is not true. His grandfather was a veterinarian.
Oh, nice.
And, back then everybody had cows and horses and, they had cattle. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, things were shifting. And so the invention of the first car was happening around the same time.
Okay.
So people were getting rid of their cattle or getting rid of their horses in favor of cars.
Right.
But at the time, so he was a veterinarian and he owned a livery, which, he would rent out horses and carts for people to drive around, their horses and carts or whatever. So that's what he did. He wasn't wealthy, but, he made a living because everybody had, at the time, cattle. But he also had all these fucking kids. They had like 8 kids, his parents.
I thought he was the only child when he was
L.
born.
Ron Hubbard's wife's mother's parents. They had she had like 8 brothers and sisters.
That's why he has all them auntie tees.
Uh-huh. That held his mom down and washed her mouth out.
I would fight her. Like, try and hold me down for this little bastard. He said son of a bitch and he deserved to eat soap.
No, he didn't say that. It was something stupid, like
I know.
a fake word. Like a word that didn't exist, but it was annoying because
It was shamanama ding dong, huh?
He kept saying over and over. It was like shamboozle or some.
He was like
some weird
Scientology. Stop saying that. Scientology.
That would be funny. I have to go back and look at it. It would be funny if. Oh, by the way, my source for this, Barefaced Messiah by Russell Miller, which is a book that was published in, I think it was the 80s or 90s. And a website called The Underground Bunker. And The Underground Bunker, well, we'll get to that. But for now, one of the stories he told his followers was that, that he grew up on this farm. So he told them that his friends were frontiersmen and cowboys, and he was a friend with a Native American, the word he used was Indian, but a Native American medicine man. Mm-hmm. And that he spent his days riding horses, breaking bonkros, and hunting for coyote. And he took his first steps as an explorer while he was on this ranch in Montana. And this was all before he was 10 years old, by the way, according to him.
Sounds like lies to me.
And he first came across another culture while he was doing this, and it was the Blackfoot Native Americans, or the Blackfoot Indians, and that they had made him a blood brother, which is not something that they do. They don't fucking do that, and so obviously that's a blatant motherfucking lie. Mm-hmm. At some point, I guess, being that he was born at this age, or
this time.
at this time, he didn't think that there were fact checkers, or there
are no fact checkers. That was the thing back in the day. There's no internet.
Well, so Scientology started spreading its disgusting tentacles in the 50s, around the 50s, 60s. And so you can still you'd have to want to find this information out in order to find it out back then.
Right.
But there were ways to find it out. You know what I mean? Especially because
there's ways for people to find shit out now and they still don't.
That's true.
Just saying.
That's very true. You're right. Okay, so the story goes that when he was 10 years old in 1921, that his dad came back, and so he went back to living with his parents. And his dad was like, "Oh my God, you're an uneducated little shit." Ooh. And so he forced him to learn a whole bunch of things, right? While he was, because he was off gallivanting on his grandfather's ranch or whatever. And so during this education by his father, he learned a whole bunch of shit in a short period of time. And he says by the time he was 12 that he'd already known, already read a bunch of the world's classic literature. And that's when he began his interest in religion and philosophy. None of this is true.
The Great Gatsby.
None of this is true. Okay. It's not, well, The Great Gatsby was written in the 1920s, 30s. None of that shit is true. Okay. He spent his fucking time bouncing around with his dad, because his mom, had to uproot everything and they had to go off with his dad. And so that's what they did.
Oh, because he kept moving. The dad kept losing a job and then they kept moving, right?
Right. And then his dad re-enlisted in the military during the war. And so he went to different schools because that's, what they did.
So maybe he got.
He was literally a military brat. You know how military brats are. They change schools every year.
And they're like, oh, I'm gonna reinvent myself. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say that. They lie just to lie.
Right. So then he told his followers, the Scientologists, that when he was 14, that he wandered around. They call it the Orient. Literally, it's Asia. Okay, not the fucking Orient, but whatever. That he was wandering around Asia alone, investigating primitive cultures and learning the secrets of life. Yeah, it says learning the secrets of life at the feet of wise men and Lama priests. He says he went up and down the coast of China several times as he was a teenager, and that he met an old magician whose ancestors had served in the court of Kublai Khan, and a Hindu person who could hypnotize cats. What the fuck hypnotize cats? What does that even mean?
The cat came back? Like, how do you hypnotize a cat?
I don't know. He said he lived in Tibet with bandits who accepted him because of his honest interest in them and their way of life. I don't know what the fuck that means. Some little white kid coming around me, and I'm a brown person because in Tibet they're darker skinned. Mm-hmm. And I'm a brown person and this fucking teenage white dude with red hair coming at me. I'd be like, who the fuck are you and what the fuck do you want? And he doesn't speak the language, so what the hell are you doing here? And this is again in the 20s,
so he's like 16.
Yeah, right.
Fucking liar.
He says that in remote reaches of Western Manchuria, he made friends with the ruling warlords by demonstrating his horsemanship. Because again, he learned how to fucking break broncos on the fucking ranch in Montana.
With Grandpa.
In the South Pacific, he calmed natives by exploring a cave that was supposed to be haunted. And he showed them that the sound that they were hearing that was coming from the cave was nothing more than an underground river.
He was in Hawaii, and then he went to
he went to
Captain's Cook's Cove.
He wasn't in Hawaii.
And lied.
He didn't go to Hawaii.
I'm kidding, Brandy.
He's full of shit. He's a fucking liar.
It's a joke.
He says he was in the jungles of Polynesia, where he discovered an ancient burial ground steeped in the tradition of heroic warriors and kings. Oh, the reason that he explored these caves was so that he could know more. He did all of this exploring for knowledge. So he also says that while he was there, he learned another language, an ancient primitive language called Igorati.
Is that a real language?
I don't know. But he says he learned it in a single night because he sat up by a kerosene lantern and took a list of the words that he had, that an old missionary in the hills of Luzon made for him. He took these words and he studied them all fucking night long. And the next day, and the language also was very simple. So the next day, he could fucking speak it to these people.
So these are Filipinos.
Yeah, okay.
The indigenous people of the Cordillera Mountain Range of northern Luzon, Philippines.
Yeah, that's what it says in the hills of Luzon. In the Philippines, there are a lot of dialects.
Right.
A lot of them.
Well, that's the indigenous people of the Philippines, I guess.
Well, there's, the
all
Philippines was also invaded and colonized by the Spanish, which is the reason that a lot of people in the Philippines have Spanish last names.
De la Cruz.
Mm-hmm. He learned this simple language in the matter of a night.
Shut up. I'm sorry. Stop it right now. Mm-hmm. I try and even do my babble, and come on.
He said he remembers sitting under a mosquito net with the mosquitoes hungrily chomping their beaks. Mosquitoes don't have beaks, by the way. Just outside the net and learning this language.
Guys, this is real. I've been diagnosed with skeeter syndrome.
Oh, God.
Mosquitoes. I'm allergic to mosquito bites, and I overreact.
I think everybody is allergic to mosquito bites.
Listen, my body overreacts.
It produces too many histamines.
So I had a tiny little mosquito bite. It got this big.
WebMD.
I wasn't scratching it.
Were you on WebMD?
You know I was.
Oh,
I wasn't scratching it, and it's like it got this big.
All the physicians hate
all
you right
red,
now.
all red, and then it just was just itching really bad, and I didn't even scratch it.
Not even in your sleep.
No.
Are you sure?
I don't move in my sleep.
Everybody moves in their sleep?
No, I don't. I stay put. I don't go nowhere.
Okay.
I wake up. I fall asleep like this. I wake up like this.
You're a corpse when you sleep?
Yes, I don't move.
Okay.
I cover up my head and I go nay-nay.
Right.
Sorry, go ahead with the mosquito nets chomping their beaks at him.
Oh, God. Mosquitoes don't have fucking beaks.
And these are his words?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Chomping their beaks just outside the net. This book is a lot of reference from his journals and a lot of firsthand quotations from his relatives and people who knew him, at the time. That's how he learned it. So he learned 300 words, and he memorized the words and what they meant, and the next day he started to get them in line and align them with people, and he was speaking Igorati in a very short time. That's what he said. His grandfather was supporting him at the time, and that he was wealthy. Oh, he also told his followers that he was the youngest. And he told, actually, somehow he managed to get a fucking newspaper involved in this, and said that he was the youngest Eagle Scout, becoming an Eagle Scout at the age of 12. When he was in Seattle, he was a scout. And because he went to Seattle, with his father, who was in the Navy. Him and his father have a lot of things in common. Like, they owed people money. His father was in debt to, he was in the Navy, and, they would get uniforms, and he would get uniforms, fitted and whatnot. And the tailors, he would owe them. He would just skip town and fucking owe tailors money. And when L. Ron Hubbard, because he did eventually make it into the Navy after cajoling people to write letters to the fucking Naval Commission, he finally made it into the Navy because that's what he really wanted to do. That's the whole reason that he started fucking this organization called the Sea Org in Scientology, because he wanted to be a fucking captain of a ship. Ugh. Anyway, so his father ran away from debt, and so did L. Ron Hubbard. Just saying. He says that his grandfather supported all of his travels while he was running around in the mountains of Asia and the North Pacific and all that other shit. Meanwhile, he was a fucking racist, talking mad shit about Asian people while he was in, because he did go to China and Japan because his father was in the Navy, and so they had to pass through there.
Okay.
And so with what people he did come into contact with, he said awful, disgusting things about the people in China and Japan. And he's disgusting. Or was disgusting, because he's dead now. Referring to the underground bunker, here are some of the lies that L. Ron Hubbard told the people.
What's the underground bunker?
The underground bunker is one of the websites. One of the sources.
You're referring to a website. Okay, got it. Because I was like, what? I'm so confused.
So as we know, later on, after all of his travails and travels, L. Ron Hubbard writes a book called Dianetics, which is actually a novel. And after it, he published it and whatnot, he decided that he was going to turn it into a study of the human mind. I think that's what he calls it, right? Dianetics, the modern miracle, or some shit like that. He tells everybody that he's a fucking nuclear physicist. I am not a psychologist, nor a psychiatrist, nor a medical doctor. I happen to be a nuclear physicist, right? And this was in 1952, and it was a lecture, Dianetics, the Modern Miracle. He told this to people, and it's in the fucking, the text. But as a matter of fact, he is not a fucking college graduate, and he's barely a high school graduate. He flunked high school dropped out of high school, and then he fucking flunked in college. He left after his fucking sophomore year, or during his sophomore year, after his sophomore year, during his sophomore year, whatever. He left George Washington University because he failed molecular and atomic physics. He's a liar. Here's one, that he was a blood brother of the Blackfoot Nation. I already freaking talked about that. He's a liar. They don't fucking make people blood brothers. There it is. He slept with bandits in Mongolia and traveled into India and Tibet. He was never in there. He literally was in China and Japan, and that was it. And I was only like briefly. He told people that he was a pioneering barnstormer at the dawn of aviation in America. He was in the glider club when he was in high school. Flying gliders. Not flying fucking airplanes. At all. Okay? Don't be a dumbass. So he says that while he was in Alaska, because he did go to Alaska again, he did manage to travel a lot, and we will get there. We're talking about his early years right now, but in the 40s, he says that his adventures in Alaska led to the development of the LORAN, LORAN, radio-based system for navigation. That was invented in the 20s and 30s, not in the fucking 40s, and you're a liar, because it was invented before you even got there. By another person. Completely different person. He said he created the U.S. Air Force.
Someone should be like, hey, no you fucking didn't, dude. No, you didn't.
No.
When? When did you have time to do this?
So, okay. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. L. Ron Hubbard did join the military. First, he joined Marines. He was a Marine reservist. He couldn't get into the Navy because he had poor eyesight. And then he had all these people writing letters to the fucking Navy Commission to get him into the Navy. So he finally got into the Navy, and he was literally the worst fucking person that could be in the Navy. He wouldn't leave his fucking senior officers alone. He was always offering them advice. They basically said that he was a source of much trouble. He mouthed off. He thought he was fucking too good for the positions that he was in. He wouldn't take fucking orders. He was trying to fucking basically make himself to be above his fucking above his position. Mm-hmm. He really wanted to fucking, his own ship. He finally got his own ship, and what he did was fuck up a bunch of stuff. He bombed he attacked a fucking magnetic field in the middle of the ocean, claiming that there were submarines when there were not. Then he got on another ship that they gave him to fucking be a leader of. They went out to fucking Mexico and fucking shot off fucking guns at a fucking island where fishermen dried their fucking nets. This is what this man did while he was a captain. They literally, he cannot be led, and if he's gonna stay in this fucking military, you need to put him on a big fucking ship where people can keep an eye on this motherfucker. That's how unfucking desirable this guy was in the military. They didn't kick him out because they needed people, but literally he should have been court-martialed more than once.
Why?
It was during war.
Oh, they needed
him. It was World War II.
They needed him.
Yeah, he was in the Navy during World War II. So they needed him. But he was a fucking idiot, and he fucked up a bunch of shit. He could have got people fucking killed. They were like, if you keep him in here, he needs to be on a large ship where people can keep a close eye on him.
Oh.
This is how ridiculous this person is. This is how much of a megalomaniac he is. He wouldn't even take orders from his commanding officers.
He shouldn't be in the military.
Exactly.
Or he shouldn't have been in the military.
He imagined himself a great fucking war hero. He wrote stories about war heroes, and he imagined himself a war hero. He lied and said that his grandfather and his father were these war heroes and these great fucking military leaders and fucking, boat captains. And they weren't. Mm-hmm. He was a liar.
He's a liar.
And through his lies, he has a bunch of fucking people following him to this day. Unbelievable. Stolen valor. He claimed to have been awarded 21 or 27 combat medals in World War II. He never served a day in combat. He was bombing the middle of the ocean on a fucking ship. because he thought there was a fucking, or he says that he believed, and that everybody on the ship apparently believed that there was a submarine down there. He was on a ship that was a sub-hunter. There was none. He was literally bombing a fucking magnetic field. The military was like, you're an idiot. Get off our boat.
Get off our boat.
But they put him on another one. So, you know, just bad. It's all bad. I mean, it was the 1940s at this time. And so things were happening, but fuck. He never started in combat. He was never awarded any combat medals. He claimed that he was injured. He said he was shot in the back while he was, you know, in the middle of combat. He said he was blinded in combat. He said all kinds of things that were not true.
Who is he telling all these stories to? Is he just
He's
like
telling this to his Scientology followers.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Okay, so
that he managed to heal himself.
Got it.
With the power of Scientology.
Got it.
Yes, this is where we're going here.
Because I was like, who is he talking to? Who's believing this stuff?
Mm-hmm. His faithful minions.
So, I have to interject. I don't know why these people keep fucking liking this reel that I did. Like,
what is it?
It's one of these puffy face ones. But I have like 30,000 fucking... Like, people just keep watching this fucking video.
You went viral.
I went viral. Like, because I had a bunch of likes this morning. I was like, I didn't post anything. And I was like, you guys were just looking at this fucking video. Seriously? So stupid. Anyway, back to you. Sorry.
He said that he was wounded in combat and was awarded 2 Purple Hearts and a Bronze Star. And he never received any of those because he never fucking was in combat. He said that he was the first American casualty of the war in the South Pacific.
How is
when
he a
returned
casualty?
home.
How is he a casualty? He didn't die.
No.
I died. He came back in a box.
He literally, the U.S. military, the naval attaché in Brisbane, ordered him to return home because he was meddlesome and quarrelsome. Mm-hmm. He wouldn't fucking stop. He wouldn't take orders, and he wouldn't fucking stop trying to give them advice.
Some people do not belong in the military. All those letters, bet you wish you didn't listen to them letters, huh?
He had told them that he was a commander of corvettes in the North Atlantic, but he was assigned command of Navy Yard patrol vessel, the YP-422 in Boston Harbor. And then they relieved him of command before the vessel even got out into the fucking ocean because he kept arguing with fucking people. He kept arguing with his superiors. This was the 40s. So, you know, they weren't, I don't know if they were as strict or what, but like right now they'd be like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Get your ass out of here.
Or we're going to shoot you. That's when those accidents happen. You're like, oh, I don't know what happened. Friendly fire.
Friendly fire. Oh God, Pat Tillman.
That was a sad story.
Very, very fucking sad.
Very sad story.
Every time I hear that word, friendly fire, I think of Pat Tillman.
Yeah.
He says, of course, that he fought German U-boats in the North Atlantic. He didn't do that. He says that he was machine gunned in the back by Japanese soldiers. I briefly mentioned that. He didn't. He wasn't there. He said he escaped with... So he says that he was a spy in Indonesia on the island of Java. And that's when he was fucking machine gunned in the back, right? And this... okay. Then he says he escaped from there with a fellow spy in a rubber raft that drifted 2,000 miles toward, like, off the coast. I think he said like something about 100 miles off the coast of Australia. That's not fucking possible. It's like, what are you talking about? That's a miracle. It will be a miracle.
The miracle of Scientology.
So this is what I was talking about. He said he sank a Japanese submarine after a battle that lasted 35 hours. That's where he was bombing a fucking magnetic field in the middle of the ocean. He was just launching death charges, like, I guess maybe miraculously hoping that somehow, some way there was a Japanese ship down there that would be, like, you know, appear, but there wasn't, and he didn't, and it didn't happen.
He wasn't, and it didn't.
Yeah, it was a magnetic deposit on the ocean floor off the coast of Oregon. That's just a bunch of the shit he said. There's a whole lot more, and I will get to it in part 2, which I have no idea when will happen because this is a lot to fucking read.
And I'm sure it's like mind numbing because it's all bullshit.
It's funny because like, you know, the lies were there and then like the author presents you with the actual facts.
Oh, nice.
And you're like, what? Like a lot of this stuff is, you know, he was an author. He was the most, I think he still is. He holds the record for like being the most published person like ever. He just kept producing stuff.
Well,
More and more stuff. He just kept publishing. So he would just write shit, and some of it, you know, he published as novels, and some of it he published as fucking scientific facts with no motherfucking evidence, and people believe his lies. And it drives me crazy. Did you see Battlefield Earth?
we talked about it, and I told you no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I saw it in the theater, and it was just like, why did we even waste? Like, I think at the time a movie ticket was $8. It was a waste of money and time.
You told me, like, because I was like, the one with John Travolta?
Yes, the John Travolta was the reason that the movie was even made. He really wanted to make it. I think he wanted to make it like a 3-parter.
We talked about it in the episode.
Yeah.
When we were, like, talking about how much we love Barry Pepper.
Yeah, terrible movie.
Terrible movie. All right, Brandy.
And it's a fucking L. Ron Hubbard book, so.
Yeah. All right, so what are you watching this week? What have you been watching? Anything new?
I started watching this show called, I think it's called The Project. It is about these, it's on Paramount Plus. No, Peacock? It's either Peacock or Paramount Plus. One of them P's.
One of them P's.
No, it's on Peacock.
Okay.
No, Paramount Plus. I know, right?
Who cares?
It's on Peacock. Okay, it's called, I believe it's called A Project. I started watching it at night and I should have been going to sleep. And I ended up like staying up till like 2:00 in the morning watching like 4 episodes. And it's about this prison in Alabama. And so what it is that they realize that arresting people and putting them in prison and then them coming out, they would just keep getting arrested in this cycle of drug addiction. And, you know, so they have this project where they actually try to help people recover from the drug addiction. So if they get arrested, instead of going to, like, they go to court and they get sentenced. They have an opportunity to go into this program. It's a 90-day program. And so they have to complete the program. And they don't have to serve their sentence if they complete this program.
Oh.
So, and the program, you know, is supposed to help them learn to cope with the traumas that, you know, force them into basically the reason that they turn to drugs. They're supposed to be able to you know, learn coping mechanisms, learn ways to manage conflict, stuff like that. And there's this one kid, I think he's like 24 now. He was arrested he had fucking like 500 pills of ecstasy and he had meth on him.
Jesus.
He was arrested and he got sentenced to 70 years in prison. He's a young black man. And
was he going to sell this ecstasy?
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
And the problem is it's this one community in Alabama. Everybody knows each other. So the main guy who runs the program watched this kid grow up. He's like, he was a good kid, he was a good student, good athlete, all this stuff. And suddenly, you know, he started doing drugs. And this is what happened. He got arrested. Like, he had never had any other encounters with the police ever. He was high in his car, acting dumb, got arrested, and they found it in his car. And so he's one of the people that, you know, he gets accepted because they have to be accepted into the program. So even if they're, you know, they're like, I want to do the program, they have to be accepted. And it's a panel of like 6 people, including like one, like the arresting officer that arrested him was like, I don't think, you know, this is a good idea. If, you know, he didn't want him to go, even though like if they don't know each other, they know their parents or their kids, you know, something.
It's like this town.
Right. And so he gets into the program, and I'm like, I really, you know, I'm rooting for this kid. I'm like, I really hope. And then like he gets in a fight. Like it's this whole thing, but like everybody has a story, and you know, like there's these two people, these women, because there's men and women. These two women who don't know each other, but you know, they're both from this town, and one is a black woman, one is a white woman, and they're both around the same age, and like they have a conflict because the black lady, she's coming from prison. She got out of prison, and she was like, I want to go into the program because if I don't, I know I'll come back to prison. And then the other lady she's facing prison time, but they're both like, since they're the oldest women, you know, they're both like trying to be mama bear. And so they're butting heads because, you know, the one of the women's like, well, I was mama bear before she got here. And now, you know, she kind of pushed me out. And so there's this issue going on. So I'm just like, what's going to happen? Like I want to know what's going to happen, because it's like, I want everybody to succeed, except there's one guy that I'm like, fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. But I'm just like, they're all, you know, they all risk going to prison, because if they don't pass, if they get kicked out, they're going to prison. Yeah. Period. Except for the one chick that just got out of prison.
This is their last chance.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen with her, because she just got out of prison and she just wanted to go into the program because she didn't want to repeat the cycle. Yeah. And so that's like, oh, it's really good. So that's what I was watching, you know, this week. That's the new thing that I was watching. And I was just like, oh. I didn't watch it last night because I was like, I'm going to give myself a break and let myself, you know, think about it, and then I'll, you know, watch it. But what have you been watching?
I don't think I've been watching anything new. I've been watching Bridgerton again, getting ready for it to come back in March.
But it's a different story.
I know it's a different story. But
it's like an anthology series. Like
okay, got it. I watched the 20-year reunion, the Harry Potter 20-year reunion on HBO.
Okay.
It was so good.
But why was it good?
Hang on.
First, I mean, it's like
hang on. I want to say this to Crystal over at The Read.
Oh, Crystal.
But it's Crystal.
It's Crystal.
Girl, we are the same age. I didn't read the books. I know you did. I did watch the movies as an adult, and they're fucking amazing. Kid Fury is like, just watch it. She's like, no, they suck. They don't suck. You got to push past these 2 movies or 3 movies. I'm 82, baby. I get it. They're great movies.
I think the thing is that she
read the books.
Yeah, she read the books first, and so she's like, they're not the
they're not the same.
Yeah, the movies didn't adhere to the books. Like all the characters in the books aren't in the movies. And
wham. Anyway, you know. The reunion was amazing. I got like behind the scenes tea about stuff that was going on. I got to relive the movies. Fucking Daniel Radcliffe has a beard. Just saying. It was a good time. I just really enjoyed reliving it and having the characters like kind of talk to each other. And then with the adult characters, when they were like, hey, you know, I got cast as this, and they knew nothing about Harry Potter.
Right. I know Ralph Fiennes was like,
what?
His sister was like, you have to do it.
You have to do it. He was like, I'm Voldemort? And she was like, shut your fucking mouth. I enjoyed it. I like to see the behind the scenes things and all that stuff. What else? I think that's all, honestly, I've been watching. I've been trying to really get into Schitt's Creek. I'm watching season 2 of Schitt's Creek. I'm trying to catch up on Succession. So I started watching Succession, and I think I only got to episode 3. Okay, I'm finishing up season 1 as well, and it's a really good show. It's just so backstabby and this and all these moves. It's a good show, but it's kind of exhausting to watch.
Yeah, I started watching it, and I was just like, because you have to pay attention. And I was drinking, you know, so I was like, I would fall asleep and shit, and, you know, not know what the hell happened. So, yeah, I have to watch it and pay attention to it.
You really do. So those are the things I'm trying to, like, catch up on before any new stuff, because I don't feel like there's any new things. I did finish up Young Rock. I finished the series.
That was funny.
I did enjoy it.
So you saw him do that weird-ass, awkward-ass dance when he was at the party? And he was like... and they were like...
Okay, right.
Aren't you like 30?
I'm 18. But in real life, you are 30, but whatever. I did enjoy that. His grandmother, the fucking gangster. I wish I could go back in time and kill his mother. What? Jeez. Who says this? Gangster. And I love how he'll say things in his different times, which are like his catchphrases that when he was
when his mom was like, what are you thinking? He's like, well, it doesn't matter what you're thinking.
Yes. And he was like, know your role and mind your business about the fan. He's like, I want a fan too.
Yeah. Dear God, please help him. He's a Rudy Poo.
Yes.
Candy ass.
He's a Rudy Poo candy ass. Oh my God. Jabroni?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
I grew up with the fucking Rock, man. The Brahma Bull, dog. So good. Anyway, back to business. Rock 2032? 2032, right? Dewey? Dewey Johnson.
Dewey. I love that. I'm like, Dewey. They probably call him Dewey, too.
I believe it.
Actually, his mom did call him Dewey.
Yes.
When they were doing the fake, interview, whatever the hell thing. So, yeah.
Dewey. I love it. Other than that, guys, thank you for being here with us. Thank you for joining us. If you aren't already, go ahead and subscribe. Come back. We're dropping that hot fire once a week. It might be a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday.
Date undetermined.
But it will happen.
TBA.
But thank you again for listening. You can connect with us on social if you want, on Twitter at Book of Lies Pod, on Instagram or Facebook at Book of Lies Podcast. We have a website, bookofliespodcast.com. You can listen to all of our previous episodes. And I'm Sunny Hepburn.
And I'm Brandy Fleek.
And this was Book of Lies, the podcast.
It's bold, bitches.